Hello? Well, today you may have heard me mention something about a villain that's based on broccoli. Yeah, that's not a joke. He really is based on broccoli. His name is Lord Broccoli. He has broccoli-themed powers. You're probably wondering what he's about. Well, you see, the Vegetable King, there is a realm of food that exists in the universe. Yeah. There's also 5 powerful elements in that area. There the yeah. Let's see, there's meat, vegetables, fruits, sweets, and grain. Yeah. Those 5 elements make up the cornerstones of that civilization, yes. And why they were there in the first place, and the reason why the pure elements of food are necessary is because long ago there was a bad guy. A real bad guy. He used to be a chef before he got cursed by the goddess of creation to always rot away and never die. Because he decided he was basically another god that decided, hey, I'm gonna turn people into meat and feed it to the goddess of creation. And the goddess of creation quite noticeably did not take well to that. Yeah, so that's how he became mold. Now mold is very dangerous to the realm of food. Because once he got there, he started to basically corrupt the place with a big giant great rot, and anything that gets infected with the great rot turns into a zombified version of itself. And that includes creatures that live there, as well as the people that live there, known as the hors d'oeuvres. Yeah, they're very different from the creatures that live there. The creatures are basically a bunch of food creatures. Yeah. Like there's fruit bats that are literally made of fruit, yeah? As an example. Yeah. Well, Lord Broccoli now, he used to live under a very repressive empire back in the Vegetable Kingdom when he was very little. And basically most of the people were suffering and poor there. So he decided to go seek. So he kind of teamed up with somebody who was a little less than trustworthy. A mushroom mage of poisonous origins, known as Lepotia. Lepotia, I think its name is. Anyway, it's a name for a class of mushroom. It's a name for a family of mushrooms. They're known for being quite poisonous. And she led him to kind of awaken Mold from his prison. Yeah. And yeah. And Mold kind of infected, Lord Broccoli, but gave him the power to kind of overthrow his old regime and basically set himself up as emperor of the new vegetable empire. And he kind of turned the vegetable empire into a huge superpower. Yeah, unfortunately, the Great Rot started to spread everywhere, and the Vegetable Empire was very militaristic and wanted to conquer all the other lands in that area. Yeah. There are heroes in the realm of food. I'm still trying to decide what to make. One of the ones I made was a bread and butter fairy. After bread and butterflies from Alice in Wonderland, you know. Who has this magic wand known as the Toast Wand, which was left by one of the apostles of eating. The apostle of breakfast, I should say. Yeah, her base powers allow her to determine what side toast flips on, which should get her some small bit of fame. But once she got that one Toast Wand, her powers got really strong, and she basically learned how to use breakfast magic. Yes, that's one of the things I came up with for it. I also kind of came up with a spaghetti-themed hero who had the powers of pasta-themed magic. Because I was like looking up random food powers on Superpowers Wiki and was like, hey, there's not very many noodle stuff. So I decided, hey, why not make a pasta mancer and have them do all sorts of crazy things with pasta. Of course, Krista Passa's hero's basic arts are mostly spaghetti, but she has access to all the noodles. Yes. And all the noodle dishes. Yes. Yeah, the Passamancer's arts are known as the true art of noodles. That Toast Fairies are known as the true art of breakfast. Yes. Yeah, that's some of the things I came up with for that. Unrelated but sort of similar is actually a magical pizza girl who does not come from originally the realm of food, as in fact from my timeline in a different city as a guardian of a different city. Yeah, you see, her name is Pepperoni Pizzoni, and she's a magical pizza girl. Yeah, the magical pizza girl, though, she used to be a normal human being. You know, she used to be a dirty normie. Until her crazy uncle decided, hey, I'm gonna make a nuclear-powered pizza oven to make the best pizzas ever. It kind of caused a massive explosion, and then she got super irradiated, and she gained superpowers from that. Yeah, and she learned the powers of pizza magic. Yes. Yeah, and she's trying to save her boyfriend and she's trying to save her boyfriend and the rest of the city because her boyfriend got kidnapped by a rather edgy bad boy type vampire who fancies him, who wants to make the pizza girl into his wife. You know. Yeah, and this vampire Count Edgeworth, at least that's what I call him, he has the power of the true art of sharp pointy objects, yes. So one of his moves is like he summons a bunch of razor blades that cut people on the edge. Yes, quite literally. Yeah. Unfortunately, him and his army of minions, led by powerful vampires, are terrorizing the city, so she's out there doing her pizza deliveries and running into vampires who are basically trying to capture her. Yeah, it's a real fun story, like that one. Count Edgeworth, Count Edgeworth is basically part of a secret society of evil vampires who basically control the city from the shadows that she's in. And she's trying to overthrow them and rescue her boyfriend. Yeah. Yeah, her boyfriend is a dirty normie human, yeah. Sorry to say. Yeah. Yeah, that's, shit, I got more lore to go over. What should I talk about next? Oh yeah, recently, and unrelated to the other two ideas, I came up with a skincare specialist who's basically a skin monster, and has the ability of the true arts of skin. So he can kind of do things like set up big giant flesh walls and kind of cause flesh to rupture or heal itself. Anyway, he works as a skincare specialist and is called on to do things like do life-saving skin grafts for stuff like burn victims and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, did you know that there's also a place in most cities in the world that access to Monster City? Yes. To access those places, you have to go to certain points during the witching hour between 2 and 3 p.m. And if you go to there, you'll find a monster cab that'll appear that's literally a monster, but the monster cabs are actually very friendly, despite their somewhat terrifying appearance. And it leads to the secret monster societies that are all over the world, that basically exist in alternate dimensions connected to our own. Yes, even in my timeline, yes. Yeah, they're all over the place. The reason why we have secret monster societies, well, it's not really to hide monsters' existence from people, because everybody kind of knows monsters do exist in my lore and are kind of cool with the supernatural. Even though there's plenty of people who are very terrified of them and really don't want them to be a thing. in their world. Yeah, that's... And there's some prejudices that still exist to this day regarding those kind of things. Yeah, that's related to Lila, who basically was the first one to really champion for monsters' rights back in, yeah, back there. That was a really terribly long time ago, before my timeline now. But yeah, she founded the first monster nation, yeah, basically. Basically, monsters before that were basically viewed as abominations and basically seen as fodder for basically RPG heroes to beat over and steal their stuff, yeah. And raise their level. There still are very hostile monsters that exist, though. Yeah. Most of the ones any of the monsters I'm fighting, though, are mostly nightmare aberrations or are allied with Lumina Knight or any of the other villains, really. Yeah, we don't just attack things for no reason now. No. After all, Indemati and very many people in my lore are very much about, yeah, people should be judged by their character, shouldn't they? Yeah. Well, anyway, monster societies basically exist in alternate dimensions throughout the city and are throughout cities and are accessed through the witching hour thing. Yeah, I've been there many, many times during my missions. Yeah. They're mostly chill places. Monsters just basically do the same thing humans do, only their worlds tend to be more built around them and their needs, really. Yeah, it's sort of like if you go into the woods and step into it and everything's basically built there for whatever lives there. Instead of, you know, for humans. Sort of. If that makes any sense. Oh, wow. Alright, now I think that's quite enough for today. I'll see you later. I promise eventually I will beat Tales of Arise and the background will change. I really want to start playing video games at the same time while I'm doing this, but I actually have trouble concentrating on two different things at once. And it took me a while to basically learn to do chats and, you know, play video games at the same time. I apologize, by the way, if that sometimes happens. Still. Anyway, goodbye.